Like before, I was like fighting fires and getting stuff done and so busy being busy that I haven't had time to kind of poke my head up and be like, well, what are the actual things that are going to make the difference? Whether it's the numbers, whether it's sales, whether it's this, that's probably the biggest internal and maybe external shift. It's like, what are you spending your time doing?
Before we worked together, what was going on mentally? What was going on, whether that was physically, mentally? Walk me through a typical day.
Putting out fires, constantly feeling like there's a ton to do, but that it wasn't core to what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go. And not that there weren't ideals of places that I wanted to go to, but it felt like the focus was so scattered that I wasn't able to just kind of think about what I wanted, where I wanted to take things business wise.
Would you say what was the biggest frustration and how long had that been going on?
Feeling like I was capable of so much more, but not
Yeah.
able to do it. So it was fine, like it was kind of bobbing along, but I knew like actually there's something else there. I just don't know how to get to a place to unlock it. Yeah.
Bit that made you want to change or want to get that advice? What was
I like to see progression. And if I don't, it feels very unfulfilling. I mean, I think the biggest thing, and you haven't quite asked it yet, but I'm gonna just kind of
Yeah, go, go, go.
for me, the systems. I've never been one, like I still sometimes like I forget to put the right document in the right folder. And without the systems, this can only go so far. And it then hits
Was that the biggest shift for you, would you say?
it's one of the biggest shifts. And it's one that I still haven't fully I've intellectually embraced. I haven't emotionally fully embraced it yet. So that's why the whole thing around accountability is important because I've set up the sheets, but I haven't finished them.
Yeah.
And I absolutely recognize the importance, but it isn't just on a business level, it's also on a personal level. You said this thing of like what is an essential and what is a luxury.
Yeah.
It's not just in personal, it's also in business. We have subscriptions to several things. We have this, we have that. What is essential? And I think, as we said before, like being comfortable is like death, right? You need to be uncomfortable in some way to change, to grow, to want to do something else. But I think it's also the same with somewhat in creativity. And, if you don't think about, well, what can you do this with? Well, I don't have the resource to. Well, but do you, do you need a video editor? Do you need like there are things to kind of go and do. So I think there's a lot that I have just been like, oh, it's fine. I'll clean it up later. And then you shut, but just keep going, keep going, keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it doesn't, that's not how this works.
Were there other shifts that you had apart from that sort of like realization that actually, systems are really important?
For me, I've kind of ignored the spiritual side of this stuff and just been like, right, we've got to, I'm creative, but that's just my creative, like it's not. Whereas I really like this stuff. I just don't know how much of it to bring into
Yeah.
how much
Yeah.
do I do this versus like talking to people about it. And that's where my balance is.
So would you say a shift for you with regards to that is to own that more? You're owning that more?
I'm owning it more in an everyday sense. I would only focus on one or the other.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I didn't, it's not something that I had awareness of. I love Michael Singer stuff. I love the surrendering stuff. I love that, like, actually, at some point, if you're pushing against a wall, it's because there's a wall there. Stop pushing, go
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah. Find a door.
yes, yes. That was the thing. I think it was like I was pushing against a wall with my business over and over and over and over again.
Were there any hard moments? Or I suppose what was the biggest obstacle or the hardest moment for you going through it?
When we went through the numbers and these are the key things, these are the metrics, these are things. So for me, I felt like I had failed my business by not having done that sooner. And that is very
Yeah.
painful. Yeah.
Yeah.
To be like, what in this isn't, let's say that's not rocket science. This if most business books will say, you've got to look at this, you got to look at cash flow, you got to do this. I was so focused on how do I grow my business? How do I get out there? How do I get sales in? How do I do this that I didn't focus on it?
Is there anything that has shifted, in terms of what your business or your life looks like now, specifically, tangibly, like in the numbers or the results, tangible changes? Maybe there might not be results necessarily, but what are the changes that you've seen?
Yeah, it's still ongoing. Obviously, as you know, we're going through this potential merger. So that's going on. Like before, I was like fighting fires and getting stuff done and so busy being busy that I haven't had time to kind of poke my head up and be like, well, what are the actual things that are going to make the difference? Whether it's the numbers, whether it's sales, whether it's this, that's probably the biggest internal and maybe external shift. It's like, what are you spending your time doing? In terms of like results, I think we've still planted those seeds. So they're still kind of just starting to come out of the ground. Let's see in a couple months where that goes. But so far, so good.
If there was somebody who was maybe sitting on the fence, not sure about whether they should jump into this, do this, as long as they are being called to do something like this, you know, you don't want to force anyone to do something they're not right for. But as long as there is a calling, what would you say to somebody that was sitting where you were before?
I think it's a calling. It's also a like you feel like something's got to change. There's a thing of like I need to change. I like there's a drive like this needs something needs to be kind of gone through. What would I say? Absolutely do it. You know when it's the right time. You know when you need to do this. Though it's work that you have to do both online but also offline. And that's the other bigger thing that it's not just about the sessions, it's about the work that you're doing in your daily life. I also think it's really, really important that it's not just about you, but especially as you're running a business, you're taking this back into your company, you're taking it back into your ethos. This isn't a selfish call to action. This is an action to serve others. And I think that's really powerful because we're here to serve. That's really our purpose, right? Whatever capacity that is, we are all here to serve and serve each other. And so this isn't just about the individual. It is about the organization, the people you touch, people you work with every day. You spend more time with your colleagues than you do with almost anybody else in your life. So if you can learn how to make a difference in their lives as well, that's massive.